very warm welcome everyone, my name is Nick and we're looking at The Running Man on the Commodore Amiga, published by Grandslam in 1989 and based on the film from 1987, which in itself was based very loosely on the novel by Stephen King, writing under the name of the pseudonym Richard Bachman in 1982. The film stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's who you control in this game. Also came out on the Atari ST, the Commodore 64, the ZX Spectrum, the Amstrad CPC. Now, it's rather lengthy loading times and a lot of intros on this, but here's playing a bit of the film. There's the four people that are after you. Now, essentially, if you're unaware of the story, Arnold Schwarzenegger is an ex-cop who's been found guilty of murder and sent to prison. He's now been put into this game show where they enter prisoners running around some abandoned city, and viewers of the game show place bets to see how long will the prisoners survive. Yes, it's the future and it's good, clean fun. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is being pursued by professional killers, but he is not guilty himself. Now, the game's over 4 levels, but in practice I was hopeless at it because the controls were so bad. Hopefully I can get a little bit better, but this is quite comical, this intro. I'll be back. Here he is being teleported to the abandoned city so he can be pursued by killers, so people at home could hit the red button and gamble. Press fire button to abort intro. Well, I think we'll do that because we don't want to see that again. It's a brilliant film. I'll let you judge about the game, but I'll tell you what I think about it. There is a cheat for infinite energy if you can get typing something on the high score chart, but I've never been able to get to the high score chart. So here's Arnie getting out of his vehicle in the abandoned city. Now he must survive as long as possible by beating up all the professional killers which eventually come after him. Have you got it? I hope you have got it, because it's taken me a while to explain it. Game comes over 2 discs, but as I say, loading time is very, very long indeed. Yeah, so I would have edited that down really, hopefully. Right, loading. So here we are, stage 1. We're being filmed here by this film crew as a dog. Oh god, and he's bitten us to death. We can kick and punch, but the response time in the control system is very, very slow. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a large character. That's one positive to it. The graphics on the background aren't too bad, but it's very annoying to play. It feels very clunky and unprofessional in the movements. It's not another world, it's not flashback. It's trying to be sort of animated like that, and it's trying to be a good game. But this is where the frustration comes quite quickly. It's very hard to judge stuff like gaps. Now, this is stage 1. This is just a very small gap for me to jump over. So you would have thought this is quite easy to do, wouldn't you? But there he goes, to his death. And I do fear that most of the review is going to be me trying to get past that bit. Yeah, I don't like this game. Love the film, but don't really like the game that much. If you played it a lot back in the day, you might have got used to the controls and get a bit out of it yourself, but I haven't got very far, up to a point where it was a struggle to even get a review video together. But I wanted to show you it, just so people have got it on the real system, or emulation can have a decide whether they want to track it down or not. And if you're bidding on it on eBay, whether you think how much you should bid for it if it comes up. Not much at all. See, look. So you can do a running jump and a standing jump, but the distance you go seems very hard to predict. It seems a little bit floaty when he gets in the air. Very tricky to judge at all. Not very many frames in that dog running backward and forward. Oh, is that me dead? Yeah, so let's have another go at this thing. Be interested to see how this plays on other systems, to see if it's a bit better. If you've played it on the Commodore 64, the ZX Spectrum, and the Amstrad CPC, then let me know. It's just judging the movements here. If those other systems have coded a bit better in terms of the movement to the scenery, then it might be a little bit more playable. But this one for me is mightily flawed, and a kid would have get very frustrated playing this initially, and after that initial go probably would have taken it back to the shop or got their parents to do the same, or not played it ever again, and it would have stayed in a cupboard. Because with retro games, or games in general, if the playability is there, a kid will keep coming back to it and persist with it. If it's a bit like this frustrating, they maybe won't go too far forward with it. If you can get hold of a hacked version where you can skip different levels, then that might be worth doing. But just based on this, I'm not liking the game at all. Not sure how it scored in magazines at the time. I doubt very high, but who knows. From screenshots, the game would look quite good. The music is okay, but a little bit repetitive and unmemorable. Coming together, it's all about the gameplay, as I say though, and the gameplay is, well, hideous. Will I get across this bit at least once in the review? Probably not. Right. See, look at that. What can you do? And it seems to be a bit random they're getting to the edge as well, so you can't really line it up that well. Sometimes you might fall off the edge, sometimes you might jump in the right position perfectly, but miles too frustrating to actually line up at all, which is a big shame because the game could have been good. The graphics are there, so I'm right on the edge, jump, right, got it. Now what? That gap seems a bit too big, so I need to run. And trying to run, I fall off because there's not much space. So they've made the first level way too difficult. Once we get past this bit, I believe, if we ever do, then we encompass the first professional killer. Do watch the film if you haven't already. As I say, the book's a lot different to the film, although I haven't read that. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, if I was a professional killer, I don't think I want to go over after him because I don't... Oh! Yes, you need to do a running jump there. I already want to turn this off, but for the sake of the review and some length on it, we will have another few goes. So say, if you love this, then let me know. But just to go over again, Arnold Schwarzenegger is an ex-cop, presumed guilty of murder, put in prison, which he's not guilty. He's then rounded up with a few other prisoners, put into this game show, because that's the way things work in the future, where members of the audience gamble on if the professional killer will kill the prisoner or the prisoner will kill them, which is a bit of a long shot bet, but basically how long the prisoner will survive. I'll be back. And he was back as well. So the best bit of this game, I would say, is the intro. It's comical and it's fun, but the game, not at all really. But that's just my opinion. You might love it. I'm getting a big H for hate here. No. Man, this is frustrating. So frustrating. Total Recall was another game I reviewed starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's quite tough as well, but not as frustrating as this. I did play that with a cheat on for Infinite Energy. We got a bit of distance from it, so I like that a lot more than this one. Other Arnold Schwarzenegger games, of course, are Terminator 2 and T2, the arcade game. All of them together aren't brilliant, but those other two games, or those other three games, are a lot better than this one. Yeah, there's a game I've been meaning to review for quite a while on the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, depending on where you are in the world. It's RoboCop versus Terminator, or Terminator versus RoboCop. I can't remember which way round it is, but that seems such a weird concept, and the Terminator, in my mind, is going to win every time. So I'll have to try and track that down and load that up at some point. Is this music getting on your nerves yet? Maybe. Now, if you've completed this game, let me know. These reviews are never going to be walkthroughs. They're just reflective of how, quite often, your first or second go would have been to see, yeah, would I pursued with this back in the day? Would I have persisted with it, or would I have just abandoned it completely? And I think I would have abandoned it completely. Maybe put on Stunt Car Racer or something, which is a lot easier, or Lotus 2, which eases your stress. This, hey, oh my goodness, we've done it, right? Amazing. And now we can't jump over this bit. Come on. Yeah, controls are way too awkward for this to be any fun at all. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger can't jump over a box now. Run. Man, I won't be playing this ever again. Another dog, kick that out the way. They do get stunned and they will... Right, there's the first killer coming at me with a stick or an axe or something. Infinite... Oh, I've been blown up. Infinite Energy would be good. Am I dead? Oh, no. So all that effort for that. If only they gave you a password so you didn't have to go through all this bit again. So every time you play the game, you've got to get past this very awkward bit at the start. I've done it once. Does that mean I can do it every time now? I very much doubt it. But we'll see. Got across once at least. Hooray. But stage 1 is quite elusive. Arnold needs to pick up a gun or something. Yeah, there we go. We're back to where we were again. Awful game. Some elements are good. I always try and find the good of games when I'm playing it. I won't just completely slack it off. I'll try and find something. The scrolling's not too bad. I mean, to be honest with you, what's really dragging this game down is the movement, the control system. The control system for me just does not work. It's frustrating. They needed to re-look at this, re-examine it. Apart from that, everything else would work. It's just judging your distances right near the end once, and then you need to run off a small platform, and that's random as well. Yeah, I'm giving this. What should I give this? I don't really score games. If I were, I'd give it about 3 out of 10, maybe 2.5. Might be a bit unfair. As I say, I don't know what the magazines at the time gave it as a score. They might have loved it, but I'm not feeling it at all. And I'll have to be honest, go my own way. You have to give your honest opinion rather than copying anyone else's. IGN. And yeah, that's why. The reason I mention IGN, they're a big site which I follow. Recently they got caught out on a particular video copying a smaller YouTuber's script, and that's absolutely terrible. Oh man, what can you do? But the person that did that video, I think, working for IGN, has now been sacked, and good riddance too. Copying is pointless. You've got to do your own creation. Ah man, he's just fallen off again. I mean, copycats always get found out in the end. It's the internet, so I don't know how they thought they could get away with that. Come on, man. You can't copy someone else's script. Right, can I jump over here? The answer is no. I've killed him about 1,000,000 times. I'm getting out of here. I hate this. That's long enough for any one person. So I hope you liked having a look at that for nostalgia purposes or any purposes. That was The Running Man on the Commodore Amiga, published by Grandslam in 1989 and based on the film from 1987 and loosely the novel from 1982. Got any comments about this game, The Running Man, anything retro or the Commodore Amiga? Then please put your thoughts below. A massive thanks to everyone that's subscribed so far, keeping the channel running. That's a big help. If you want to help that a bit more and get a shout out for anything you're doing each month, then there's patreon.com/njenkin. Every bit really does help, and I really do mean that. Until next time, take great care of yourself and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.